Piastri's life changed the day he met Mark Webber, and today we will tell you how Mark orchestrated quite the coup to make his driver #1 ahead of his much-experienced teammate. But before we tell you how Webber made McLaren make his client #1, you first need to understand the fundamental reason why Webber will never accept #2 for his client. Mark Webber, a perennial second driver, knew that playing deputy is the worst thing that can happen to a driver's career. He is one of the biggest victims of the second driver syndrome. During his Red Bull days, Sebastian Vettel was the star and he was just the backup singer. It all came to its head in Silverstone 2010, when Horner gave the only upgraded front wing to Vettel in the morning of the race. Both drivers had locked the front row in qualifying, but fortune fell on Webber when Vettel squandered the lead at the first corner. Mark will go on to win the race, but when Horner congratulated him over the radio, he responded with a cheeky reply saying, "Not bad for a #2 driver."
Well done, Mark. You drove very well today. Great job. You won the British Grand Prix. Well done.
Fantastic, guys. Not bad for a #2 driver. Cheers.
Being a second driver is the worst thing that can happen to your psyche. It is mentally draining. Nobody listens to your input, and when they do, your input doesn't count. You are basically the town toilet. Everybody takes a piss on you. You will only earn a fraction of what the lead driver makes and will have to keep fighting for a contract renewal every other year. Webber had experienced this firsthand, and when he assumed the position of managing Piastri, he knew he had to correct that mistake. Our story today stemmed from a revelation by another perennial second driver, Nico Rosberg. The German who always played deputy to Hamilton, even though he had the talent to become a world champion, revealed key details in Piastri's contract. He revealed that Piastri had a clause in his contract that expressly stated that he is #1. The German explained that due to Oscar's #1 status, he does not have to help Norris unless he chooses to. Rosberg said, "It is hard though on Oscar, because in his contract, he will have a #1 contract," he told a Sky podcast. Yeah, it won't say in his contract that you need to help Lando. But Piastri, with all due respect, couldn't possibly have been smart enough to introduce this clause on his own. This #1 driver clause has Mark Webber written all over it. Webber is one of the few guys in the sport who have experienced the humiliation of being the second driver and knows it is career suicide to take that role. With Oscar over 40 points behind his teammate, many have argued that the team must force him to play second fiddle. The goal is to catch Verstappen, and Lando is closer. However, the implications of making a talented driver play second fiddle are profound. Firstly, this would damage the trust he has in the team, and with Helmut heaping praise on Oscar, he could very well be on his way to Red Bull. Aside Red Bull, it is almost guaranteed that Wolff would be interested. Another reason why is it dangerous to ask Oscar to slow down is because you will destroy the mental health of a driver if you treat him unfairly. Take a good look at Bottas. After years of playing Hamilton's errand boy, he still looks depressed 2 years after leaving. Based on racecraft, Oscar is on par with Norris. And if you look at the type of move he made in Monza, Oscar has displayed mental superiority. Now, we understand that when we make videos like this, it has a tendency to annoy Lando Norris's fans. But there are strong proofs that McLaren has been giving Norris a clear preference in terms of upgrades, and this has called into question if Lando is truly better. Since McLaren has been nailing every upgrade since last year, it is akin to tying Piastri's hands behind his back and asking him to sprint against Norris. In October of last year, the Australian complained that Norris was given the preferences for upgrades in Baku, Austria and Singapore. Norris had finished just outside the podium in Austria before finishing second in Singapore. This preferential treatment continued in 2024. When Norris won his first race in Miami, their team principal revealed that Oscar only got 50% of the upgrades. It would seem that Lando negotiated for upgrade preferences while Oscar negotiated for #1. The question on our lips is, could it be Zak Brown has been sneaky? Could it be that he offered both Oscar and Norris the #1 status without telling the other? Leave us your comments.
Hit the subscribe button to support the channel.
Signing
Welcome
off.
to Front